What's good, y'all? Peace. Happy Monday. Peace, balance, truths. William, everybody else out there watching. If you're at work, doing whatever you're doing, hope you're having a good day. What's going on, y'all? Peace, peace. Welcome to the stream. This is Monday. I hope whatever you're doing out there, you're having a good day, and I hope you had a good weekend, actually. My weekend was pretty good, not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun. So, I'm just gonna say peace to the chat, and I'm probably not gonna look at the chat again because I got a lot to go over, and this is gonna be a fire stream, I can already tell, because there's so much to talk about. As you can see, the title is Moon Maps, so you're getting it in on the moon maps. Now, it's okay. I'm pulling up a lot of drawings from the moon, from like the 1700s and later, and we know that, you know, at this time, you know, the 1600s, 1700s, all the way up to the 1900s to today, there are people that feel that the Earth is a plane of existence. It is not a globe spinning through an empty vacuum with possible life forms out there. That you know, that we are safe and enclosed, and whatever this system is, it can't be destroyed. It can't have an asteroid hit it, a comet wiping out all life, all that kind of crap. Comets always fall down or circle, but never come from the horizon up, which is suspicious. And what is it that made, what I want to know is, what is it that made you out there, if you are a believer or a truth seeker, and you have come to the realization that the earth is a plane, why don't you drop it in the comments of why you think that, how you got there, what was the first piece of evidence that made you go, aha, did you see it? For me, personally, I saw all these videos. I was doing the conspiracy searches, and I saw all these videos about flat earth in my sidebar. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is the stupidest thing. I'm not going to click on these videos. A year goes by, and I look at it, and it came back around, and I'm like, wow, oh my God. Like, I was looking for a deeper conspiracy. I was looking for something, because, once you kind of feel like sometimes you hit a plateau or a glass ceiling where it's like, okay, I think I know all there is to know. There's lizard people. The royal family's, full of lizard people, and the war was about oil or opium, and then you get into, they're hiding the mushrooms and what Christmas is really about, and blah blah blah, and you kind of feel like, well, what else is there? And then when I clicked on this, the Earth is flat situation, I was like, yo, this is just too far now. But after a year, I was like, okay, let me look into this. Let me not judge. Then I was already making videos, so I was planning on researching about the globe so much that I could just prove any flat earther wrong and maybe have some debates or whatever it is. But I couldn't prove it wrong. I couldn't prove the flat earth theory wrong, because there's just so much evidence and science and proof involved, real observable and repeatable science, and a lot of questions that I hadn't asked before. So I tried to debunk the flat earth, but I couldn't do it, and that was kind of like the revelation for me. Eric Dubé, there's Odd TV, there was Dirth, there was that's DIRTH, Deep in the Rabbit Hole, or I guess it's DITRH, dyslexia, And so Eric Dubé really opened my eyes to it. If you don't know, I mean, obviously, I think anybody who's watching this knows Eric Dubé, but if you don't know, or if you haven't given him any time, definitely check it out. I think today we've gone so far with it that it's, we've taken the theory and the research so far that when we talk to new globe earthers that are coming into the flat earth thing, we kind of forget what brought us into it, and we forget to keep it simple, because it was the simple things, and it's always going to be the simple things that wake people up. Okay, so today we are here talking about the moon, and if you were to search up detailed drawings of the moon plus the notes, and then I typed in Mar after, M-A-R, because that is, like, I don't know, Spanish or Latin for sea or ocean. So I typed that in, and I got a lot of results that I wanted here, these old time drawings. Now, why did I type in Mar, and why would Mar be on the moon? See, and these are some questions that I had. I have this detailed chart, it's called the lunar chart that NASA made. If you guys can see the window, let me show you guys. I'm going to switch to window views now. Alright, so here we go. And it kind of, they kind of try to color it, add in some water. It's kind of blurry, so I had to go and find other ones, you know what I mean? But right off the bat, I'm thinking to myself, I'm seeing a lot of, now this is from NASA, right? And I'm seeing a lot of blue in these craters. I'm seeing a lot of, mare, which is M-A-R-E, that is Latin for ocean or sea or body of water, right? Mare, the maritime. So anytime we're hearing that M-E-R, M-A-R, it's or M-O-R, it's usually referring to something of the water, seafaring, something like that, right? Sal de mar, which is like a salt water, ocean salt. So I had to go deeper than this. But let's stop right here and realize that NASA is giving us moon maps with blues in these so-called craters, right? There's blue in it. And why is that? Because, and a lot of them have this MARE. You'd have to go look at it yourself, but a lot of these little places is like Mar de Terre, Mar in Brienne, Mar Celeste. I can't pronounce all these, but it's almost like they're alluding to the fact that a lot of these are water bodies, the bodies of water. I'm seeing things that look like, you know, what was that old place with the rings that Plato talked about? Atlantis. A lot of these ringed structures here that look like Atlantis, like on the bottom left here. So anyways, so the search continues, right? So I'm here doing just some research, pulling up all these old moon maps, and guys, I was blown away, and I can't wait to share with you guys. So buckle up and let's go. We got some Monday heat for y'all, and I hope you guys are excited, because I am excited to share it with you. Okay, so here we go. We have this old map from I believe it's the 1700s, and what you're gonna find is that in a lot of these maps, there's like this double image. As you guys can see that out here on the lower left ring, there's like it's another moon behind it or something. It's like this double image, this MasterCard image coming together, as you can see. I hope you guys can see that. Let me just blow my OBS up. Yeah, you guys can see that. So you see how there's like two crescents. There's like a crescent at the top and a crescent on the bottom. It's just that was just really it really intriguing to me. Up here we have tabula selenographica. A tabula, I guess like a table or chart. Selen, which is usually like the moon or salt. Selenographica, so the map of the moon or something like that. We can look it up. I always wish that YouTubers would look up what these names mean. Selenographica, tabula, and we'll just go translation, because I really like to bring the research in and show you guys how my mind works. So it's saying that it's detected that it's Italian, and I spelled it wrong. Tabula selenographica. Tabulas. So I got it right, but let's change that to Latin, and we'll do this English. I like to do live research, so bear with me. Translate to English, and I feel that this should be Latin. Selenographic map. So map, I was right about the, graphic obviously meaning like a drawing. Selen, that's usually like the moon. So I was looking up all these images, and I'm going to show you guys as I go through, because this is just some of them. But again, we have the yellow here. Now, there is a theory out there, and I don't know how much weight it holds, but there's a theory out there that the moon is actually a reflection or X-ray image of the Earth. And of course, with that, we're going to get the greater Earth. Now, we often in this community that we're in together, us against the world kind of thing, we make postulations, and we try to figure out what's right, what's wrong. We go back into history, into the writings, into the drawings, and we're trying to piece it together, because we don't have the answers. You know, we don't have the answers for ourselves. They're not giving us the answers. They're hiding it. We know they're hiding something. What they're hiding, we don't exactly know, but we're uncovering as we go. And what I find is, as we go, we often like almost get into fights with each other, or we start beefing, or we have a notion that like one person's right and the other person's wrong. Early off in the flat Earth community, you had a lot of beefs between different channels, different content creators, different researchers, and I always thought that was very divisive, and I think it was planned. You had people like Flat Earth Asshole coming out just like beefing with people, and it's just like Jake the Asshole was what his name was, and I think he was just a disruptor, and now he's doing bullshit NFL videos and why sports are rigged and whatever. It's a total whatever. I don't want to speak anything bad about him. He has contributed. I learned a couple stuff from him, but it's you gotta. I guess the real ones stay and the fake ones get weeded out. Now this I'm going to close down, but I just thought it was interesting to show you. It's an old drawing, and it says plan of the post at the half moon, scale to feet to an inch, and I thought it was interesting why someone would be making a plan of the post at half moon. And what was really interesting is that they had this star fort design here, so I knew it was old enough for where star forts were in common knowledge. What they were used for, we still don't exactly know, but anyways, I thought that was interesting. So we have a lot of moon maps, and I'm just going to be showing you guys that there was a lot of detailed research on the moon. It's like it was this almost obsession. It was the thing to do, I suppose. Look, mare imbrium, mare serenitati. All this water, all these water notions. You know what I mean? Like it's like pointing us to the fact that these were dried up rivers. Now I know that they say that the moon is a dead planet. It was a planet. Well, some people in the conscious community say that the moon is a dead planet. It used to have life on it. It dried up, and now it got caught up in Earth's gravitation and whatever. I don't know about that, but what I do know is that you have to pose a real good question in your head, and this is the question. What I do know is, why would anybody map out something that they're not walking on? Why would anybody give names and designations of distances and almost like these nicknames and towns that we do with Earth maps? Why would anybody in their right mind start naming parts of the moon? And furthermore, why does Russia and England and America and China recognize each other's name designations that they give? For example, if China's looking at the moon and they're giving it their names and still it's like you have to ask that question, why are you making maps of the moon as if we're walking on it, or if we're planning to walk on it or something? And Russia's map designations should be much different than China's. They should have their own, if this was a thing, and if it's like normal to name places, why are they agreeing on different names? With America, with Spain, a lot of these moon cartography that we're looking at, it's Latin, Spanish, it's Greek, it's Italian. And of course you had like Copernicus, Galileo, and everything like that, making detailed drawings and studies. But why are they recognizing each other's name designations? I just think it's very interesting and intriguing of why they would do that. Here we have a very interesting drawing of the moon. And you can see like these different parts on the outside. I think it's like a detailed background of the moon. So that's interesting. Uh, I got so many different. I have so many different drawings here to show you guys, but I also have a. One second. Just waiting for something to load here. Oh. Let me see here. Okay. All right, guys. Here we go. Got it. Sorry, I was looking for this one specific. Looking for this specific drawing of the moon. One second. Just gotta deal with something with people. 1 second. Sorry about that, y'all. Had to see why this wasn't loading, but it is loaded up. I really want to, because I like to really show what I'm talking about, show and prove, and I want you guys to really like get into my state of mind here when I'm thinking and researching. Telescopic appearance of the moon. Now, once again, super detailed drawings, right? Super detailed. I mean, if this was a high school project, they would have gotten perfect on it, right? 10 out of 10. This is just, it's incredible, you know, but these are, you got to understand, these are grown men and probably women, maybe if they were allowed to. Telescopic appearance of the moon, lunar map, antique map, engraving. Historical map is a drawing by Studio Graphica, which was uploaded on January 16th, 2018. But it is ancient. They say antique map. And we got to understand that there was grown men with children and wives that were drawing the moon. You know what I mean? And nowadays you say, you know, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? Like, you know, get a job or something. They say that this was an engraving, right? So what kind of engraving is this where there's like all these dots? It looks like laser printed, right? Kind of like shooting the beams, almost like printed out, because these dots are in straight lines. So it looks like a type of technology that we didn't know existed, right? But the same thing goes for the Mount Rushmore. If you haven't seen Mount Rushmore up close, it's all these little dots in the head, almost looking like it was like shot and penetrated with laser, and the laser was just like etching it out of the stone. If you haven't looked at a close-up of Mount Rushmore, definitely look it up. So we got some more details here, and what I liked about this is what I was waiting for to load. What I like about it is that you can see these detailed studies of the moon that they have, the high points, the low points, the darks, the lights. And as we were talking in the last stream, if you haven't watched my last stream, about the moon being an X-ray of the Earth. You know, we have the black background, and we have the bright whites as the hypermineralized portions of the bone that you can see, and the parts that are less dense or further away is kind of like it's a little bit darker on the X-ray. But look here again, we have this offset, this almost this MasterCard symbol type of offset, I guess you could say, like two circles coming together. If you see my hands up here, if you look at my hands, one circle and another circle for the moon, and they're always drawing it like they're intersecting circles, kind of like that. And I thought that was interesting because, like, we have a crescent moon, you know what I mean? The new moon, the crescent, and the waning and the waxing moon creates a different angles of the crescents as it goes by. And I'm wondering, what does this have to do with the moon's phases? You know what I mean? Again, this is another tabula selenographica, you know, a map of the moon, a drawing of the moon. And you have all of these names on it. Europae, Sarmatier, Europae. It's just, I mean, it's so much detail for a place that we can't travel to unless we actually do live on this. You know, there's a theory out there about crater Earth, about how we live in one of these craters. If you look in here, it's Mare Frigoris. There's a Plato, the crater Plato here, Terra Grandini, and once again, they're coming from different places of the world, but they all have the same names, as if it's almost as if all of the governments of the world, all the people have an agency or a respect for what it was named, and they recognize it and they say, okay, this is the name of this formation, this crater, or whatever it is, and they're respecting it. From Paris to China, you know, I was trying to think of a city in China, and I'm just on the spot right here. You know, Shanghai. Different cities around the world have different agencies to study the celestial bodies, and usually we're disagreeing with so many different ways of our culture. You know, we do math differently. We read in different directions in different parts of the world. We do different practices in the morning. We call breakfast different things. Some people don't even really have breakfast. Like in America, it's not, you know, typical that you have a breakfast. Whereas in Japan, you're definitely getting a breakfast. You know what I mean? In Japan, they love eating fruits. Here, it's more processed foods. We use different systems of multiplying and division. But one thing that we're all agreeing on, apparently, around the world is that there are these real designations for the moon, and we're all respecting it no matter where we are, no matter where we're from. So, again, so much mar, water, ocean, Taurus, you have here Fortis, Mount Fortis, Taurus Mountain, Monte Sier, Mons, Sinai, Mount Sinai. You have a Mount Sinai right here, Mons, Sinai, Sinai. Why would that be on the moon? Unless it's also on the earth. You know what I mean? Why would that mountain be there? And all of these rivers running out, or these mountain ranges, running out of this. Could this be Mount Meru? Could this be where Moses landed? Mount Sinai, where he walked up and talked to the burning bush and everything like that, right? Why is this in here? You know, and why do the Chinese recognize Sinai? Why do the Greeks recognize it as Sinai? You know what I mean? So this is just so, it's so telling. You know, it's almost as like they are mapping our greater Earth from looking at the moon. Because you have a lot of these Terra, right? Here you have Terra. Okay? Terra, that means earth. Vita, life, right? Terra, life on earth. And what I'm going to bring you guys to next is just simply amazing. You have to stay the whole stream. Like and share this, guys. If you guys are watching, please like this. And this is the name here that got this whole thing going here. Is this sinus epidemiaru. That's what because I saw it on a map, and I was like, sinus? What does sinus mean? Like, what is the translation of sinus? Epidemiaru. Meru. And it got me, Mare Nubium is up here. Water of Nubian Ocean. And I'm looking through, I'm like, hey, a lot of these things have like earth names. You know what I mean? A lot of these names here we can also find on earth. And it just made me like stop and think, wait a minute. Like I didn't really give too much thought onto the moon being like an actual reflection of the earth until I saw this name, Sinus Epidemiaru, and then I put it in the translation, and I was seeing terra, mare, ocean, earth, and I'm thinking to myself, why are we doing this? Why are we taking this so seriously as to map it out, give it names? It was just, so now I am thinking, okay, maybe the moon is an X-ray image of this great plane that we live on, this great earth that we live on, and we live in a section of it. But I wouldn't say for sure, I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't say that we live in one of the craters. But, we do have the upturned edges, we do have that ice wall, which could be the outer rim of a crater or an old volcano or something like that. And the height of this earth might be as high as the ice wall, Antarctic ice wall. And maybe it sinks back down into another crater with a bunch of little volcanoes in it. Who knows, right? But here we have a map of the earth. It's like of the moon, and it's like a real photo, not a drawing, and it's giving us all of these names, right? So it's kind of simplifying it for us, and man, it's like so crazy that they would be naming all of these in detail. Here's a great one here that I found, because it's very simple, very plain, and it's almost like they're mapping out different living regions, like actual townships, cities, but it's like circled in such a way where you're thinking, okay, this is like that crater Earth theory, or like that Earth pond. That photo that they have of like the different flat Earth ponds, and you go into another pond, and that's like another Earth or another civilization. So I thought that was super interesting. This is a beautiful drawing. This is also very detailed. You have these spots kind of like blotted out, kind of like very simplified, and then you get it very detailed. So I just thought that was very, very interesting, beautiful as well. And once again, they're taking it very seriously, right? Like this isn't, a lot of times, this is an old Soviet moon map, 1967. And a lot of times we look back and we think, oh, that's such a silly drawing of the Earth. Like, whoever drew this, there's mermaids in the water, there's sea monsters, things aren't drawn very well. But you're looking at it and you're saying, well, it is fully colored. This map is fully colored, and there are measurements, there's a scale, there's like a legend, and no child is doing this. Back in these olden days, the map was the treasure. If you could get a map, especially if you're like a nation that's like pillaging others, like your Vikings, and you're raiding other towns and whatever, and you're going to steal their riches. If you can get your hands on a map of the greater world, then you potentially can rule and dominate, right? So maps were no thing to take lightly. It's not like a child's plaything to start drawing maps, especially back in these days. Getting the ink, getting the pen, making the mistakes, and having to correct it. It's not a simple task. And so when we look at these, we have to also keep in mind that they were taking this very seriously. So I'm going to get into something very very compelling. I think you guys will find it compelling. But I want to show this here. El primer mapa de la luna con nombres. So the first, the first map of the luna, the moon, con is with, nombres, names. Okay, so the first map of the moon with names included. What years? Is from 1644, people. Now this is definitely when they knew that the Earth was flat, right? Because when you insult somebody for their intelligence, you might hear something like, "Oh yeah, and I bet you think the Earth is flat." Or if you're talking about way back in the day, like, "Oh, this was made way back in the day when they thought the Earth was flat." It was like it's like used as like a reference point to humankind's growth in this world, right? And so if they're doing all of these amazing feats, all of these amazing building, astronomy, astrology, archaeological things, clay, pottery, intricate jewelry. They're doing all of these things that are so high tech when we look back. We look back and we think of the Bronze Age, Stone Age, and we know that's bullshit because, we find these Olmec heads, we find the pyramids with grass grown over it, not knowing that there's a pyramid under it, and we're coming to a lot of these realizations that the past had a lot of technology, a lot of high technologies, but there's been a couple resets in the past. So when we look back and we're seeing all these great archaeological feats of wonder, we also say, well, they thought the Earth was flat, so how smart could they have been? We'll kind of like double speak and say, the ancients, they knew so much, but they also thought the Earth was flat. So we can't really put too much stock into their cosmology, into their story of how the Earth was created and formed. You have Turtle Island, you have like the witches brewing the pot. So this is a map from the 1600s, the later half, 1644, so mid 1600s, and we're saying to ourselves, this is all they could understand. When really this was like a highly advanced map. And I'm betting a lot of people were trying to get their hands on this map. Because if, think about it, right? Say we live on one of these spots here. Say Latticii, right here on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but pick any one of these black spots. Okay, any one of these black spots. Why the question is of this whole show is, why are there such detailed designations given to these maps, right? And you're thinking, okay, if I live on one of these black spots, let's just say that our Earth plane is on one of these circles here. If you don't know, like if you have a reset, right, and everything is washed away, all of the oral history and the stories is washed away, you would not know what's out there. Just like us, we say, oh, they're hiding land. We don't know what's beyond Antarctica. Okay, let's just think about it like that. There's a civilization of people that just went through a reset, and they're wondering what's beyond. Well, if you find a map like this and you see where you live, then you can know from this map what is beyond, and it's already named. And there's probably people there's probably people living there and inhabiting it, and maybe they could help with resources or whatever, right? So I think that's a super important detail to think about when we are thinking about why there are moon maps in the first place. Why is there moon maps in the first place? And I have to research sinus because this sinus thing, I'm seeing it all over the moon, the maps. So let's say that this was Latin. Sinus, let's say that it's Latin, because we don't know what it is. I don't know where these maps are coming from. Just going to wait for it to load here. But I'm seeing sinus on all of these maps. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to translate it for you guys right here, live and direct. And I hope you guys are doing well. Like and subscribe and hit the share button if you can. Share it to somebody that you think that would be interested in this. Okay, so in Latin, I think, to it's English, we'll just say. Bay. Sinus means bay. Okay? So like the bay, the fundy, you know, the bay, so this is like a bay. So that's funny because you know, they're designated ports, bays, rivers, oceans, mountains, but the moon is a holographic projection is what we're seeing, right? Because we can see stars through the moon, we can see the sky through the moon, you know, so it's not a physical thing. There's no gravity. We can't land on it. We never landed on it. Why can't we go back to the moon, quote unquote? Because apparently they destroyed the technology that they needed to get to the moon, but we did it in the 60s. Why haven't we gone back, right? So it's just a lot of questions here. And just imagine, we have resets. There's mud floods, there's wars, there's famine, there's things that just completely depopulate us, that completely unearth us and move us and make us voyage to another place if we can survive it. We're dealing with all of these past resets that we can see in history, different cultures rising and falling. There's cities under the water. What happened? You know, is it going to happen again? We don't know. Probably, you know. And you get your hands on a map like this or like this, super detailed, and you're saying, wow, we live in one of these like little quadrants or portions of this map. That must mean that if we walk this way and then that way, we can get to this crater or this civilization or this land or this earth, you know what I mean? So it's very, very interesting. Now this is what I want to spend a lot of time on, this map here, because this is like the really interesting thing, and I think it's a smoking gun, to tell you the truth. So let me come through here with all these pictures again. I'm going to keep this NASA image up just for later to tie it back, and just to, like, you know, just to show the fact that, yeah, NASA is also making detailed images of the moon. Why are they doing that? You know, what would be the point of that, right? This one again is very compelling. I'm going to keep this up. We have that crescent-like structure. This is interesting here. In this top right, you kind of have like this crescent, Mount Timaeus, right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a small little crater on the right, and it shows like there's like Earth in the crater or whatever it is. It's tough, right? Like, why is it blue? Why is there? You're seeing all of, now look at this, guys. We're seeing all of these mountain ranges here, right? In the beige gold part. We're seeing all these mountain ranges, and we're looking in the blue, and that must be water, right? That must be the water portion. And you're looking at the mountains. These are real mountain ranges. So, well, I mean, we have to take it as real. We have to take it as these people with all these intricate designs all around it, right? A real science here. You're seeing these different degrees all around the map. Explicatio literarum, so a literal Explicatio, I don't know. I should look it up. Okay, I'm going to look it up. Explicatio. Explicatio. Explanation. Okay, so, and then that must mean that this literarum, that must be like a literal, literarum, letters, literarum, letters, literarum. Yeah, okay, so, I don't know, letters, an explanation, detailed explanation of what this is. I'm just trying to research with you guys live and direct here. So we have all of these mountain ranges, if we can see, and they're all right side up. It's not like it flips from the top to the bottom. It's all right side up. And look at this, region, Hyperborea. Why is that on the earth, on the map? We hear a lot, you know, back in the awakening days, we hear about the Hyperboreans, coming and giving us technology or answers or whatever. Look at this, mare mediter, middle earth, middle, ter, earth, like Mediterranean, mare, Mediterranean Sea, right? Let's type that in, mare mediter. Okay, let's type that in, mare mediter, I think. Mediter, yeah. Mediter, in the middle of the sea. So, Mediterranean. The Mediterranean Sea. Why is that on a moon map, y'all? I'm tripping. You know what I mean? Sinus, hyperb. So, Hyperborea, sinus, the Bay of Hyperborea, right? The ocean, the Hyperborean Ocean. Mount Marcosimon, you know, there's a lot of things I can't pronounce here, but I'm trying my best. Paludes, hyperb. Paludes, what is that? Paludes. Swamps. Okay? Swamps. So these are the Hyperborean swamplands. These are the wetlands, okay? Palus. What does palus mean? P-A-L-U-S. But the U was V's back in the day. Palus. The swamp. So these are swamps. On the moon. Like, take that in, guys. Why are we naming parts of the moons as bays and swamps, wetlands, oceans? Okay, it's the moon. It's supposed to be a rock that's been dried up, but we're giving it Earth-like names. Geez, I mean, I could go on. Eugenus, E-V, which was a U back then. X-I-N-V, which is the U-S. So, I'm going to translate that. Euxin. So, E-U-X-I-N. Hold on, let me just see how to spell it again. E-U-X-I-N-U-S. X-I-N-U-S. It's not giving me anything. But, Euxinus. Just gonna try to get this for you guys, get this for us, for the community, for the research, for you know, putting it Pontus, short Latin name for Pontus Euxinus, the Greek name for the Black Sea, aka the Euxine Sea. Pontus mythology, a sea god in Greek mythology. So this is a Black Sea that we're looking at. I'm so glad that I take the time to actually research. So this is the Black Sea, Euxinus, right here, and they're showing that on a moon map. It's just, geez, man. You know, what can you say about it, man? Um, Here's a Volcania. That's got to be a volcano. You know what I mean? This right here is a mountain. There's a huge mountain popping up here with all of these little mountains trailing off. We looked at that in the other one. Petro, Hiera, Fietria. Lots of names here. Um, so this is obviously a huge mountain. This might be, you know, Mount Olympus, Mount Meru, or whatever. Look at this down here. There's like a square. See that in the middle of the screen here? You see like some sort of like a square with like a round volcano or island on it, whatever. Mare Pamphilium or whatever. Pompeii, you know, who knows? Um, Pale, Pale, Palestine, Palestina, Palestine. Wow, that's like obviously where Israel is today. Um, Egypt, Egypt, Egyptus. Guys, why is there Earth designations on the map, guys? This is weird. Egyptus, that's Egypt. That's what Egypt on old maps used to be called. Um, what's this? EOVM. Let's see what that is. EOVM. But it might be UM, right? Because it's old Latin, right? So, what does EOVM stand for? Okay, let's try UM, because that V was supposed to be a U, and then they made it a double to make a V. So the old W's used to sound like V. That's why a lot of Germans or whatever today will pronounce the W word as V, because you're putting two U's together to make V. EOUM, meaning, or translation. Okay, I'm gonna have to circle back around to that. You guys can do your research yourself. It's probably easy to find. I am just, I got you guys with me, so I don't want to. It's funny. EOUM, not VM. Okay, so EOVM, I get nothing, but EOUM means him, right? Him, his. And we're looking at this map. And Mare EOVM, so like the ocean, his ocean. I don't know, right? But anyways, moving on, right? So anytime you're seeing this, like kind of like these mountain ranges spreading out from like a center point like that we're seeing here, that means that central point is probably the highest point, and then all of these like kind of like these streams of mountains come out. And what we're looking at here, guys, is that the navel of the moon, we could say. That navel of the moon. I wonder if that will bring any searches. But if we look at any moon, we can see like kind of like a navel orange where it all kind of comes together. Let's see here. Okay, so we're not going to type in navel. We're just going to type in the moon. And we're just going to type in photos of the moon. Whew, hot. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Come on. And, okay, here. So we have this on the bottom left here, as you guys can see. Just waiting for it to load. Here we go. So on the bottom left of this moon image that I'm blowing up here, you can see these lines stretching out, right, from this center navel, as we can call it, right? And that is what we're looking at when we look at this here, okay? this big crater with these lines of mountains coming out of it. That's what they mean. Look at this, Romania. Romania. It's so Italia. So Italia. This is Italy. Italia. So this is like it's almost like I don't know. Are we taking Earth names and putting it on the moon? I haven't seen China yet. Or have we? Or are we taking moon names and putting them to the Earth, right? And is there some sort of reason that we do that to remind us? For example, okay, if we have the moon map and after reset, what we're noticing, what we're keeping throughout the ages, is the fact that we have these maps with names on it. Okay, so to remind ourselves, the next time this resets and the next time, we have to build up civilization again, let's name things on the Earth like they are on the moon so that it can give us a clue. If we can name Italy and Egypt and other regions like Sinai, Mount Sinai, and Mediterranean Sea, then maybe, if people are trying to put back the puzzle again, they can grab one of these maps and say, hey, okay, wait a minute, this in this direction we have Egypt, in this direction we have Italy. So if I look at the moon and I want to get to one of these distant lands, then I would have to travel this way to get out of our Earth crater or out of our Earth plane and walk along this newly explored land that we know nothing about, and eventually we will get to Egypt, like the greater Earth Egypt, right? And I think that it's almost like having a city, and in this city you have Little Italy, Little Jamaica, Little Portugal, Little Tibet, Little Spain, and all obviously Spain and Italy aren't here in Toronto, but we have these like Little Jamaica, Little Spain, Little Italy, to like give recognition to the greater world. Like if you were to be like, hey, where am I? I'm in Toronto. Where am I? Say I'm in New York. Where am I? Oh, this is Little Italy. Okay, so Little Italy's here. If I walk in this direction on the greater Earth, then maybe I will get to what they call Italy on this greater map of the world, right? So, I mean, this is just blowing my mind. It's kind of, I'm just asking questions as well. Peace to the chat. What's going on? Please, yeah, Vibes of Cosmos, Flat Earth Dude, of course, Vibes of Cosmos, right? I'm trying to, because the thing about Vibes of Cosmos, he or she has amazing content, but I wish they talked more or explained more or just like was narrating, their thought patterns, right? But we're taking these bits of Vibes of Cosmos, and we are basically putting words to the research. I love what he says about the black sun shining through the North Pole, creating the sun and the moon or whatever, and it's creating the flow. And it moves, right? Like on the greater Earth, the sun and the moon, they're moving around, and that's why we have like these golden ages and these ice ages, because if the moon is lighting up a certain area of this map, and the sun, they're lighting up a certain area of this map. As the sun and moon move around, different parts of this moon map are gonna get lit up for thousands of years, right? And then maybe the sun is coming back around, and 26,000 years later, we have the sun over this part of the world. So I don't know, it's a lot to explain, a lot to think about, but I'll keep that up. But I'm gonna close these. This is an awesome photo. I wish this was like super clear, because this has like green zones on it. This has, it just has so many detailed names. It's so detailed. I can't even pick it up for you guys, for myself even. But I would love to see this in person. A generalized photogeologic map of the moon. generalized. It doesn't look. I think the general means in the colors, right? Like the yellow is used to designate all the same things. And so, in Vibes of Cosmos channel, when we're looking at the Earth, I think up here is designated, like what you're looking at up here at the top right is like North America. You have Asia. You come down and you have Africa. You know, and maybe Australia here, because this is looking like Australia right here. What we have on the top right, that yellow blob on the top right. But nobody can know for sure. And that is what is, you know, crazy to me. And, you know, I know that this looks like it's like bubbling out because the lands are getting more stretched around the edges. But if you think about like a petri dish and something growing from the center out, whatever reaches the edges first of that petri dish, as it grows more from the center, it's going to smudge. It's going to smush what's at the edge, and it's going to like smush it and elongate it out, right? So if you think about like, I guess if you have like bubbles, like you're making things bubble in like a dish. As the bubbling is coming from the middle, I'm going to change the. So as the bubbling is coming from the middle, it's pushing the lands or the bacteria or whatever you're growing in the petri dish, is pushing it to the side of the dish and it's getting smushed, right? So this might not be like a 3D thing. It might just be getting smushed, or this could be, you know, we could be living on a globe, but just a massive, like an inconceivable size of a globe, and we might inhabit one of these craters. Or maybe we inhabit, like Vibes of Cosmos is saying, maybe, you know, this is what we know on the right hand side here. Maybe this is what we know as of the Earth on the right with all the yellow. These are the continents. Let me just switch the scene again. Sorry. There you go. Okay, so maybe what we're looking at here, the yellow on the right, are the continents. And what we know of, this is all we know of, the 7 continents that we have, well, minus Antarctica. We have all the continents here, and on the other side are the, you know, Atlantis or Lemuria or all these other places that we don't know of yet and we haven't trekked to yet, but maybe the elites, they know full well about it. Maybe they're flying rockets back and forth to it. Maybe this is where they're getting new technology from. We never know, right? Maybe they're taking the way that we enslave people here, and maybe they're bringing it to these different lands and regions. But either way, I digress. All I'm saying is that if we do live on a globe, it would have to be like this, where it's massive, where things do look flat, where it is so big that it is actually flat. Because they tell us, you know, oh, well, we do live on a globe. It's just so big that it looks flat. Yeah, well then how come as the boat goes in the distance, you say it's going over the curve of the Earth? How small is this globe that you're talking about if I can see a boat going over the curve? It must not be that big, right? So we know that what we can observe around us is flat. But if it is a globe, then it would have to be massive. And I said that from the jump. From day one, I said either the Earth is flat or it's friggin' huge. You know what I mean? It's so big that we can't even conceive of. So here's another one like Mare Vaporum Sinus, the bay of this and the bay of that, mountains here, mountains there. Mare Tranquillity, which means tranquil. That's the Sea of Tranquility, as they have it on the map. Mare Sectaria. You know what? If I was NASA, I would definitely not have left in all these names. So how stupid can you be to leave in these names as if we're not going to put it together? You know what I mean? Like, of course we're going to put it together. And that's what we're doing right now together. We're putting this whole thing together. So I'm showing you guys all of these old drawings. Let me sum up for you what I'm thinking, okay? Look at this, another old ass drawing. I showed this before, but the detail in this, guys, is just astounding, guys. What they've chose to outline, what they chose not to outline, what they've chose to color in, what they chose to leave blank, how they have name designations, and like this would take this could take you a year to do, even more. You know, this is a large piece of work, guys. So let me explain to you what I'm thinking, okay? They're lying to us about the shape of the earth. They're lying to us about the nature of the sun, the nature of everything, basically. Gravity. They're lying to us about, I mean, so many things, right? So here we are. We're trying to put the pieces together. We're looking at the moon through a telescope. We're all doing it. I got a telescope. You probably have a telescope. And we're seeing the moon appearing to look like an object that is physically there in our sky. And then we have these other truth seekers saying, hey, it's not actually there. You can't land on it. It's a ball of plasma. Whatever it is, it's not what we think it is. It's not what they're telling us. And then so we look into it and say, well, what is it? What could it be? And we have a couple of different channels saying what they are, and we have Vibes of Cosmos showing how you can take the Earth. If you're not subscribed to Vibes of Cosmos, definitely do that. And you're saying we're seeing this kind of like this projection of the Earth on the moon's face, and he takes it and he takes the colors and he makes the oceans and he makes the land, and somehow it lines up exactly with what we're saying. That what we're saying is that this is a projection, but we live on what's projected, right? What we're seeing in the sky is a projection of something that we're actually walking on. And why is that valid? Well, because you have all of these names and designations for the Earth. Look at this. This is someone uploaded this to Twitter. This is interesting. I don't believe that this is Vibes of Cosmos, but we can see here like a detailed drawing of the map with color and coloring our continents in. So, finishing up my thought. Okay, so we always said in the Flat Earth movement that either the Earth is flat or that it is much, 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 much bigger than they're telling us that. And even if you go back, you can check that that's facts. That is much bigger than they're telling us, and that they're hiding land. Well, if the Earth is like this, you know, flat Earth disc or whatever, where are they hiding land? I mean, yeah, granted, China or Japan, they just discovered 7,000 islands off the coast of Japan. And if you haven't seen that, check out my last video that I uploaded. Here we go. Okay, so somebody made this, somebody uploaded this. This would be the navel up here that we talked about, and then things running out of it. And this would be where we live. Okay, this is kind of like what we're saying here. We're seeing the moon in the sky. It's black and white for some reason, and we have found that there are mountain ranges and things that mimic Earth, bays and lakes and oceans that mimic Earth, and they even share the same names. Why would that be? Unless we are really inhabiting this Earth and it is being projected, just like Vibes of Cosmos was saying, right? So I'm still going to go back to the Vibes of Cosmos. So what he does is he takes these images of the moon, changes the contrast, and just lo and behold, magically, shit seems to line up, right? It seems to line up with the land formations that are here. This is one of them here. You have the Earth here, or you have the moon here, I should say. See, it's catching me already. You have the moon here. You change the contrast, and what's dark is the land, and what's light is the oceans, is what they're saying. And one thing I want to show you guys, if you looked at my last stream, I told you that the moon has to flip. You know, because if you're looking at something concave, and I got this spoon example, right? if there is this like dome above us, then that would mean we're looking at a concave sky. And if you look at a spoon, go grab a shiny spoon or a shiny bowl, and you look at your reflection in it, you're going to see yourself flipped upside down, because the top part of the concave spoon here, I hope you guys can see. I'll change my scene here. The top part, we're looking at a bowl, right? The spoon here. The top of the spoon here, the concave part, is looking down, and the bottom is looking up. So the light that comes into the spoon, it flips around, and what's under here on this bottom part reflects back up. It bounces up, and what's up here in this cave reflects down, right? So that's why your image is gonna flip upside down, right? That's just that's just like optical illusions, right? So I'm gonna close some windows here, and I'm gonna show you guys something that is like the smoking gun. It's crazy, okay? Look at this up here. I will flip it back. Here you go. Okay, look at this up here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but at the 90-degree part, it says Zuid. Sud, right? You come over here, it says Oost. And over here it says West. And over here it says Nord. Nord is north. Swid is south. Oost is east. And West is west. So why are we looking at a flipped image? Because I told you guys, when you're looking at a concave surface, the image is likely to flip. So what they've done was they flipped it. And look at this, guys. Look at these names here. Okay? You have Herodotus. Right? Number 3, Herodotus. Wasn't he the ancient historian that told them that it was the Egyptians and the Africans, the Ethiopians specifically, who gave white people the ability to speak and to bathe and hygienics and stuff like that? I don't know if that's real or not, because I don't know if anybody in history is real. Look at this, number 33, Plato. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's Louisville, like Louisville, right? There is Timaeus. If you are a fan of Plato and Socrates, Timaeus was somebody that Plato, over here, Plato, where's Plato? Somebody that Plato would often have dialogues with. Timaeus. You have Pythagoras, right? You have Kepler up here, number 7, Kepler. You have Franklin, like Franklin de Roosevelt, maybe. You have, let's see here. You have all these names here. Julius Caesar is number 6. Why is Julius Caesar in the map? You look up here. Let's look at for any other names. Colombo. That's a popular name. Colombo. You have Hipparchus. Rosenberger. That sounds Hebraic. We have over here a lot more. You have Hell right here. 22. Hell. You have Tycho, which is also an old philosopher that used to battle against Plato and stuff like that. You have all of these, or not Plato, but Socrates. You have all of these names of Greek philosophers, mathematicians, and did these people that are figuring out the globe, did they really exist? Did they go under these other names, these pen names, to try to hide their identity? What is going on with that? And then you have the whole north being on the bottom, south being on the top. Like, you have to flip it, right? So this is just something that I really think that we should be focusing on, paying attention to, and trying to debunk here. What is the moon? We can't land on the moon. We know that all of the moon landing footage is all fake. I would trust these maps more than anything they give us today. Terra Vigoris, We have just so many Geminus. We have so many different names here that are on Earth. There's Olymandias, Endymion, Hercules, Atlas, Hermes. See, these are right here. These are Greek guys. Atlas, Hercules, Hermes, which was Trismegistus, Thoth, right? What is Exodus or Eudoxus? It sounds like Exodus. I was just that's my dyslexia. So yeah, guys, I think we're uncovering something here, and being able to juxtapose this with Vibes of Cosmos work, I think it's going to take us a lot further than we could have gotten just like, alone. So yeah, that's where I'm going to kind of cap it off, guys. It's been a mind-blowing morning, Monday morning mind blow, and I hope you guys found that interesting as well. If you were at work and you're not able to watch the screen, definitely watch it after, definitely share it after, and take this NASA Luna chart in. Maybe somebody can find it in very HD and send it to me, send it to my email. If you guys want to support me, definitely like this, share it, and if anybody wants to tackle the question of why are we getting this double image of the moon, this whole crescent phenomenon here, what is it showing? Is it showing that it moves slightly? Is it showing that it rotates slightly? Why are we getting this kind of MasterCard symbol, this overlay of the moon? Somebody else out there, I would love it if you could get all of these translated and see what all of these mountain ranges are, what all of these bays are and oceans are. That is going to be the real work, and I think that it has a lot of validity here, a lot of potential to be like the next big thing in flat Earth here. So look at all these little drawings here. You have like these pyramid. This is like an angular finder, something that you hold up into the sky when you're navigating on the ocean. And you have this book that's open here with like the eclipse. You have this ruler here that he's standing on, and this one's looking out the telescope. Just really, really intriguing, guys. Lots of detail. You have this square here, this compass here next to the square. You got someone else using the compass here. You got this globe Earth thought. I don't know, guys. This is it's so crazy. So many questions that need answering, and I'm gonna kind of get your guys' help to really, like, all hands on deck with this thing, right? Let's really come together and try to find out what is happening. Why is this? Like, why is there Earth names? Why are we naming places on the moon unless we are actually walking there? We usually only do that with places that we can travel to. So if that's true, then I am saying that we can definitely travel to these places. And here, once again, with the crescent moon kind of thing, with the two moons in one overlay, what is going on with that? Why is there two moons here, two moons here? I don't know. It's funny. I want you guys' help, and definitely share this to the other big channels. Email them about this, because we have to find out what is going on here. So guys, I hope everybody in the chat has been good. Flat Earth Dude, Omar Little, peace and love, blessings to you too. Plate Warp, it says, when I was a child, I was taking the trash out and saw the full moon. I said to myself, we live there? I got confused and thought, but I'm here. Yeah, bless up, Majid Tarantino, Balanced Truths, peace. Studying Euclidean geometry confirmed where they was lying for me. Okay, true. That's a real good, that is, everybody gets woken up in different ways. No real pics from the moon. What the hell? Yeah, yeah, why are we having real pictures from the moon of Earth? I mean, we can look at real pictures of the moon all day, but that's not gonna really help us because we want the labels, right? Look at Terra Grandini, Grand Earth. Why is there so much Terra on the Earth? Earth is Earth. Terra is here. Why are they putting Terra on the Earth? Why are they putting oceans on the moon? Why are they putting names of the Earth on the Earth? Terra on the moon is weird. Mountains on the moon, not as weird. Lakes on the moon, super weird. Oceans and bays, incredibly weird. So that's why I'm thinking that, yeah, the moon is it's one of these. It's an X-ray. So let me close these up. I'm thinking that the moon is an X-ray image. Oh my God. Here we go. Patience. Here we go. Bring it up. Okay, perfect. We got X-rays here. The black sky in the background helps to show the calcium, the minerals basically of the body. And this is basically what we're looking at, in my opinion. This is what I'm thinking, I'm leaning towards. This is what we're looking at when it comes to the moon in the sky. We look at a black sky, we look at this cool blue moon, and the X-rays have this like cool blue feature to them. You put and the X-ray, usually we put up a light and we put the X-ray picture over the light, and all the black is black, and then all the parts that are light shines through, right? And that's how we're getting this. It's shining through. And maybe it works a little bit differently, but is this how we discovered X-rays? And how we discovered how to see X-rays is because we knew that the moon was an X-ray? Who knows? But basically, it's almost like taking an X-ray photo. Look at this person. Has got like their ring on the X-ray. And that ring is super white because it's mineralized, right? Whether it's the mineral gold or silver or platinum, that you can't see through that ring, but you can see through the skin of the hand, right? And then the bones are solid also. So anything with hypermineralization density, places for the light essentially of the X-ray to get trapped up and vibrate in, will show up brighter, just like the moon, right? We're looking at the moon and we look at bright spots, low spots, and if we could take it's almost like we don't know what the back of our head looks like, right? So let's take an X-ray of it and project it, and then we can start naming the cranium and the pineal gland and the jawbone and the spinal cord, whatever. And we're knowing that by naming the X-ray, we can figure out what we can't see or whatever, right? But this must mean that somebody in the past resets, had completely mapped out this greater Earth, or they came to this crater or wherever we're living, and they brought the maps with them, and they used it to dominate, and they burnt the Alexandrian library, they raped and pillaged and took the gold and took the cosmologies, and they took the Bushmen and the elders for themselves, right? And they warped our history, they warped our stories, our morality, and they gave us globe Earth, and hid all the maps that we had before. But imagine if we had one of these maps and we pinpointed where we are on this moon map. We could explore. We can go over the ice wall with the proper gear, maybe a plane, maybe a hot air balloon, whatever, and we could travel to these distant lands. And we have a map in hand, and when we land, we say, hey, this is where I'm from, this is where we are now, and who knows, maybe the people there don't even know that we exist, and maybe we're the only ones that have this map. I tend to think not, but anything is possible. So anyways, guys, there's just so many questions out there, and truth seeking is all about answering these questions. So we might not get all the answers that we need, but in due time everything will be revealed. Alright guys, happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to close it out here. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Alright, holla at me, email me if you need anything, if you want me to go over anything, or if you want a certain topic for me to discuss, let me know, and I can also get that popping too. Thanks so much for your support. Please like and share, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.